Hello Voltheads, you are watching the self-proclaimed, sarcastically named Captain KeyForge, also known as PJ Broughton of the Steel City Snufflegators. And today we are back with KOTE 7 Round 3 Survival. This time we're up against Damiano Paoli of the Jargogles, which is an Italian team. I have got the same deck as last week, obviously, because we're in survival. So I'm sure you've had a look at that. Good all-round deck, and probably just only really missing the actual artifact kill. But other than that, it's got a lot of the stuff you'd want to see in an all-round deck. Looking at my opponent's deck, I'd say, sort of pretty similar. I mean, again, we've got a mirror match in terms of the houses. They've got a board wipe, an actual proper one with a gateway to this. They've got an effervescent principle, so they've got mass amber control. Interdimensional graft is dangerous, and when I'm playing the Sting myself, along with an interdimensional graft, I'm looking at that one thinking that one could be a worry. Especially when you've got a sort of lash of broken dreams to keep putting someone off, forcing them higher, up to 9, and then you go, you can forge for 6, and I'll interdimensional graft you for the other 3. So that could be a problem. I mean, also as well, phase shift into key hammer into interdimensional graft could equally be a bit of a bad one if that one came off. So there's a few things in here that I don't like the look of when it comes to sort of playing against my deck, but equally, they've got to come out. Maybe got to come out at the right time. But it's again, it's going to be an interesting matchup. Both big, powerful 80 SAS competitive decks, and we'll see how we get on. So here we are in the game. So I am getting 6 cards going second. 3 card hand on turn 2 is not bad. I can put down the scientifical hack and try and possibly save it for later. Also put down the time traveller, try and draw 2, see if we can actually draw a logos card this time, unlike the first game. So my opponent's gone into this for his and discarded key hammer. I mean, yeah, that's obviously not something you want that early, so that's a bit unlucky. But nothing wrong with getting it away into the discard. Yes, a scientifical hack, Library of Babel, play time traveller, draw 2 cards. Oh, and look at that, neither of them are logos. Kel surprise, they weren't in the last game either. Last game it was 3 cards and none of them were logos, and my opponent did the time traveller and didn't get any logos cards as well. So yeah, TCO doesn't seem to like giving you cards from the same house when you play a draw ability. But it's not a bad start to the game. 3 cards out of hand, and yeah, we'll see what my opponent goes into this time. Just having a quick look at their deck there. Do that a little bit, and then you can see they've gone into logos. Played library access, so we could be getting a big library access turn coming up now. Played remote access. Drawn a card. They've discarded the scientifical hack. I wondered if that would have let them use my Library of Babel, but they haven't used it. They've played Scrambler Storm, so no actions for me next turn. Played phase shift, so that's going to allow them a card out of house. Someone deciding which card they're going to play from their other house. I mean, the Scrambler Storm's probably the worst thing out of this big turn so far, because I've obviously got 2 dis actions and 1 shadows action. So a little bit disappointing to see that come up, especially as the 3 actions have all got an amber on them, so I don't particularly want to be discarding them. But there you go. I mean, it's one of those cards that's going to come out sooner or later. Still taking a look at that phase shift. There we go, and he's played Nerve Blast, so that's going to destroy Time Traveller, Steel and Amber. Put him on 3. Obviously, he's drawn another card as well because of that. 4 cards in hand still. So we might be looking at even more cards still to come. There we go, he's passed the turn to me. I've gone into shadows to play the Brend and the Yancey gang. There's only one card in his deck that's going to return something to my hand, so I'm going to be a little bit unlucky if the Brend gets returned to my hand. So yeah, I mean obviously it could happen, but we'll have to see. So he's gone into this time. We could be seeing a control the week. We'll have to see. I mean, if he doesn't control the week and he gets on check, 3 Fates could kill Brend potentially. So he's used the Lash of Broken Dreams. That'll increase my key cost, although it's not something that's going to be posing me too much of a problem at the moment. But it's sensible, because again, if I had something like Remote Access or Poltergeist, you know, that could do a job in using it and destroying it and making his key cost 9. And then he's used Tendrils of Pain to deal 1 damage to Brend and Yancey gang. And there's a control of the week. Probably pick logos because I haven't got any amber controlling logos. There we go. So yeah, he's picked logos. Sensible choice. I haven't got any amber controlling logos. Already played 3 logos cards, so he's probably thinking I haven't got that many in my hand. I mean, if I had a helper bot, that would have been alright. I mean, even some lab work just to get some cards out of my hand. But yeah, I mean, that's a good, smart control the week. When you're in check, you certainly want to put someone into something that can't take you off. Oh, look at that, and we've drawn yet another card on a logos turn, and surprise, surprise, yet again, still not a logos card. And at that stage, there were as many logos cards in the deck as there were shadows and dis. My opponent's gone into shadows this time. He's played Subtle Maul, he's played Moon Cursor, he's played Umbra. Wonder if he's got anything else. There's still 3 cards there. Yeah, I mean, Moon Cursor is good. Those are 2 creatures who both fight Steel 1. So he's put Ring of Invisibility on the Umbra. So now they've both got Elusive. Well, no. The Umbra has. Obviously, I've gone into shadows there, and we're going to Sucker Punch away the Elusive Umbra. Gain an amber because of it. Put Sucker Punch into the archive. Fight with the Brend, get rid of the poison creature because Brend's got Skirmish. Steal 1 with the Yancey gang. Played down the Guard Disguise. Played down Dust Chronicles. Which will now let me put a card into the archive. There we go. You can see what we've put away for later there. So again, I mean, I'm behind by 2. The game's not quite getting away from me at the moment. Big Dis hand is probably the worst thing about it, because yes, we've had a control the week, so we won't be seeing that again just yet, because he's only got the 1, but there is still Restoring Hunters to come. So yeah, at the moment, probably the worst aspect of this so far is that I've got a big hand of 1 group of creatures. That's the thing possibly that could make a difference. So yeah, he's gone into this time. There's Gateway to Dis, so he's killed the Brend when he had no amber, which is quite fortunate, because so far this is the only turn in the game where he's had no amber. Then he's played Restringuntus, stopped me from going into this, and again, it's a good call. How many cards have gone down? What house have they been? You know, easy enough to look in the discard pile and see that. I mean, he's throwing it under the bus because equally he knows I've got a sucker punch hit in my archive that I can just go, right, I'll have an amber and I'll kill it and buy, which is exactly what I've done. So there, all he's done in that turn is killed 2 creatures and made me possibly take a slightly suboptimal Shadow's turn, but I would argue Gateway Restringuntus isn't exactly the best disc turn in the world either, to be fair. And yeah, if the best you can get out of Restringuntus is 1/2 card turn from me, and it, you know, to get it down you only play 2 cards yourself, is not bad. I think the best thing he did out of that was the Gateway to kill the Brend. That was the best thing. But yeah, that's so that's all his forcing me into one house gone for the moment. Shouldn't be seeing Control a week or Restringuntus again. Also as well, there's going to be a lot of Logos cards building up in my deck because, you know, we just haven't seen them. We've had 3. So Silvertooth's come down ready, and he's fought the Silvertooth into Umbra. That makes sense. He's used Subtle Maul. I mean, the Charette's a bit disappointing out of there with the Subtle Maul. I mean, to be fair, possibly wouldn't have been saving it for too long anyway. But yeah, I mean, Banish would not have been a bad one to go. I wouldn't complain too much about that. Although I am slightly worried about his Shadow Self coming down. I mean, sooner or later, surely some creatures are going to come down, and my creature control basically is the 3 face and the Banish. So I don't particularly want to spend both of them at once on the same turn. If I go on Goozle here, I can either kill my own creature or I can damage the Tentacus, but then I'll end up discarding a card out of my own hand. So the fact that he's got no creatures there for me is actually very fortunate for him and very unfortunate for me. Maybe should have played Banish or 3 face just to get rid of one of them. But again, sort of behind by realistically just about 3 amber. Yeah, I know it's 1 key to 0, but 2 amber to 5 is you're only behind by 3. So yeah, I mean again the Sucker Punch is possibly an option, but it's not gonna get rid of the Keto. The Binding Irons will obviously do its job. The creatures are going to go down. I'm going to reap with the 2 these creatures. Not too particularly concerned about stunning them at the moment. Just be nice to get into check. And then see if we can't get a KeyForge finally. I mean, quite a slow game for both of us. 7 turns in and he's at 1 key and 2 amber. I haven't managed to get a key yet. So there we go. So played in the Gongoozle as well. Reap with both of these creatures. Again, possibly could have played the 3 face and the Banish, but equally I don't want to jump up to too much amber he could have the interdimensional graft, and the longer we go on into the game, the higher the likelihood is of him having the interdimensional graft. Now, if I've got interdimensional graft as well, I really don't care. You can have all of it, and I'll just interdimensional graft you second. But if I interdimensional graft first, and then he plays it on me, that's a massive swing. So yeah, he's gone into this and he's played the lash. The Schuler has stolen one. Shuffles has taken one away at the end of the turn. So again, what do we do now? Obviously as well, he's played Hysteria there to return the Dust Imp and the Tentacus and the Hammer Imp back to my hand. So yeah, I'm going back into the Dis. I've put down the Dust Imp there, and I'll play the 3 Fates, and that'll destroy both of his creatures, destroy mine, and give me 2. There we go, play the Amber Imp, play the Tentacus. Again, I still don't like playing that vanish, but basically on 8, he's got 2 ways of getting me off check. Lash of Broken Dreams or Effervescent Principle. I'm kind of fishing for the Effervescent Principle, because again, it's going to come in sooner or later. But he may just go for the lash instead. Certainly getting that lash as early as he did was very helpful for him in terms of controlling me with the game, because again, with the lash, along with the threat of the interdimensional graft and the little sneaky things like Shaffles and Schulers, you know, and the Effervescent Principle, basically the only way I can guarantee to forge your keys by getting till like 13 until he's played the Effervescent Principle. And you don't want to go to 13, because then you're going to get hit with an interdimensional graft and get an absolute load of amber stolen. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm not particularly expecting to forge for 8. So he's gone into Shadows, he's played Lights Out, he's played Subtle Maul, and he's got the Exhume, which is damn annoying, because out of all those cards in there, the only one that could take him off check was an Exhume of Charette. So literally every single card in my hand there, out of the 8, that was the only one I cared about. That's the Curse of TCO again there. Oh, look at that, which is the absolute best card in your hand. That's the one you can lose. You'll have heard me say that I think that happens a lot. And there's another prime example of, out of all the cards in my hand there that I didn't want to go, the one card that would actually take him off check, because this is the second time he's got to check, and look at that, can't take him off, can't interdimensional graft, can't get anything. I've gone up to the 11. Again, we've still got a lash to worry about, but I'm expecting to get interdimensional graft now. He's got very few cards left in his deck, so unless the interdimensional graft is right at the bottom. But again, I can't forge unless I forge for 9. I've got to get to 9, otherwise the Lash of Broken Dreams can stop me. And if I go to 9, he can let me forge an interdimensional graft. So there we go, logo. So that obviously is interdimensional graft coming. Discard Effervescent Principle, played interdimensional graft. And, you know, where's my miasma? Nowhere. Where's my sting? Nowhere. What's he discard out of my card? Or the only card that would take him off check? I mean, I'll say this, he's played very well. His controller week was very good. His Restringuntus was the right house to call. But yeah, my deck has given me no chance there to win. So yeah, that's going to be a loss for me. I can't turn that one around. And then as a team, unfortunately, we got one player who won, which was the blue player. The captain lost because he had key abduction in the last 2 cards of his deck. Otherwise he would have won. He would have forged 2 keys in 1 turn and won the game. And as you saw there, I lost. I mean, realistically, that wasn't even close as well either, to be fair. I feel a little bit unlucky in terms of the amount of logos cards that drew me a card, and I never drew a logos card. The cards that were discarded out of my hand. In terms of that sort of thing, I've had some bad luck also as well. Sting, nowhere. But yeah, my opponents played a good game, and I will see how I go on with the next deck in the next round. Thanks for watching, so feel free to like and subscribe. I love comments and criticism, so please feel free to leave those. I'll hope to see you next time, but until then, may the forge be with you.